Guess who's coming to sauna? Hekilunta. Guess who's coming to sauna? Hekilunta.
So hi, we have another new episode of The Upper Bench. I am Eero Kilpi, and I'm with the North American Sauna Society.
And I'm Risto Rice.
And I'm Sam Wacha. And today we're going to be talking about sauna etiquette. So new users to sauna, what are the do's and don'ts? And for, even for some people that might be experienced with sauna, maybe there's some things that, somebody's been too afraid to tell you about.
Yeah, no, there are many topics to cover, like, swimming suit, no swimming suit, depending on the place. I think a good start with, at least, when I sauna bathe, how it starts is I obviously undress normally. The people that I sauna bathe with, we use our swimming trunks. But for me, it starts with taking a shower. That's kind of the first thing. Before I go to the hot room, I take a shower, and then I'm gonna get ready to do the actual sauna.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to be, especially if you're in there with other people. I understand if it's your home sauna and you're the only one that ever uses it, maybe you skip the shower before you go in there. But really, I mean, think of all the junk that you've got on you throughout the day: deodorant, cologne, oils in your hair, products, lotions, whatever. If you're going to be sweating that out on your benches, that stuff stays behind. And it doesn't smell good over time.
Yeah, we've introduced quite a few people to sauna. And so before we invite them over, because there's kind of etiquette on the host side and in the guest side, so as on the host side, we try and educate the people that are coming who are usually brand new to the whole thing. So that's kind of an etiquette as a host, is to understand where the person's coming from. We're not going to force someone to take take off their suit and sauna naked or anything, but we give them heads up as to hydrate, ahead of time, bring sandals and a towel, a few towels. And then we do recommend that people shower beforehand, not have any strong smelling perfumes or, deodorants, because you get in a small enclosed hot space, and that's not really pleasant for anyone.
No, absolutely. I can always tell, if my wife jumps in, maybe for a couple sessions or something like that, and if she, hasn't cleaned up, it's like, ooh, I can smell your hair product. That's the most, because her hair gets hot, and so I can smell that hair product if she hasn't washed it out beforehand, for sure. So, and in my benches, the biggest thing that I can do to prevent anything getting on my benches or getting them nasty, which I think is, beneficial anywhere you go, is, sitting on a towel. You are going to sweat. There's going to be crap coming out of you, but, sit on a towel. I mean, sitting on wood is nice, but you're just going to kind of seep that into the wood grain, and it's going to stick around. It's going to smell. So I always recommend bringing an extra towel to sit on, because if it's the only towel you got, it's just going to be a sweaty mess, and you're going to be SOL when it comes time to dry off.
But by the way, it's kind of interesting. That makes me think, because back home in Finland, way back in the day when I used to live in my dear home country, public saunas had these these dedicated, not towels, but these that, depending on the place, might be a paper, might be something else. Might be even a cleanable, the cleanable, like a piece of wood or something, in a wood, like a plank, kind of what you sit on. But the idea is that when you go to a public sauna, you do not sit on the plain wood. So there's always something between you and the bench. And I don't think that I don't know if sauna companies in the United States and Canada sell that stuff, but that's something that is, because towel is a towel, and obviously there are, depending on if you go to a Russian banya here in New York, they have like these small towels that you're gonna be sitting on.
How is that with private saunas in Finland, Eero?
It depends. It depends on the sauna. Some people don't care. It's just like, because you rinse and back in Finland normally, as I would say, as a norm, all the saunas have drains. So you can spray it, handsomely, the sauna room after you're done. So but like we are fortunate enough, we have an apartment in Helsinki where our daughter lives as we speak. She moved from New York to Finland 5 years ago. But anyway, so even there they have these little, when you go there, it's just a box and you take one kind of paper, what you put in there, you sit on. So we don't normally have like that. What Sam said is absolutely right, and that's the way to do it with your towel. But back home normally there's only one towel, which is for you to to get dry after sauna. But you have these specific things, and they vary depending on the place where you go to. But that's normally there. And by the way, before I forget, that taking shower etiquette goes to the people that I normally sauna bathe with here in New York. We have a Japanese bathtub for a cold plunge. And it's the same thing. So after you come from the hot room, you take a shower, and then you jump into the cold plunge, because it's like it's just like there's 10 greasy guys. That water is not gonna remain clean for a very long time.
It's a soup.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome that you get to cold plunge afterwards. I've been meaning to try to incorporate that. How about the new users that are coming, they're coming over to your house, maybe they want to splash some water on the rocks. They've heard that's the best thing. They want to get the steam going. How do you, Risto, you said you've brought in plenty of new people. How do you introduce them to their first experience with splashing some water around?
So this is going to be a difference between my wife and I, Julie. Julie is like the most gentle, like introducer to sauna. It's a little bit of steam. It's very, like I said, it's very gentle for people that are just coming into sauna. And that's probably the most like respectful, like proper etiquette, asking who wants steam. But this is perhaps where my etiquette fails. I want to introduce someone to the full, like I want them to get the experience. Yeah. So I'm a little more like measured with the steam, but not by much, because I want them to get the intensity of the sauna experience. Because I think it's in that intensity of the heat and the cold and getting the whole experience, making sure that it's a really like profound one and not just like a 30 minutes out, just quick in the cold plunge and then you're done for the day.
Right.
If I'm trying to hook someone into sauna, like I want them to get the full experience.
Yeah.
And so I'm fairly liberal with the steam.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I am too. New users now. I've brought in a few people. Since I've moved, my previous house, I got to fortunately sell to my uncle, and now he's an avid sauna user, never used sauna before that, but he never had one. So now he's got a wood burning stove and a sauna that he uses multiple times a week and says he loves it. But, I remember the night it was kind of the overlap. They were moving in and we were moving out, and we had a barbecue and invited him over, and I showed him how to use it. And you know what, we just stripped down to our birthday suits and had a couple of beers, and I showed him how to light the stove, and away we went. And it was great because it was what that sauna could do. It was what it was going to do. you know. So, and I showed him exactly how I sauna, and I'm glad that he's keeping that tradition alive. So that's kind of the fun thing too. You know, you want people to pass down those traditions and respect, you know, where they got it from.
The interesting thing, we are recording this on, is it February 11th, 2023 today? And about maybe a week ago, I was interviewed by the online magazine, the HuffPost. And I'm so happy. It was an article about you know, the differences between a steam room and a traditional sauna. And I was so happy that the journalist, I got through the idea in which you wrote that that the sauna is a process. It's what I said, and she wrote: hot, cold, rest, hydrate, repeat. And you can't say that too many times. It's like that is, and of course there's variation, but that's like the core of it. You know, you have to remember how to hydrate, and there's no hot without the cold part in a good sauna. Obviously, when there are people, particularly when there are new people to the sauna, you know, I would ask before I throw, and what we call the löyly. So I would ask before I throw water. I would still throw the water. So I would, you know, but I would say that, okay, here it goes. Shh.
A little heads up.
Yeah. But you have to be careful. You know, there's been cases where, you know, if a sauna bucket is there on the upper bench for hours on end, you know, the water is going to turn hot.
Yeah.
So you know, you have to be very careful with people, so they're not gonna. There's been cases where kids have been, you know, horsing around and throwing that hot water, and it's bad. It gets super bad.
Yeah, definitely a supervised activity when you start dealing with those kind of temperatures.
Yeah.
And I've heard terrible stories, like in the online forums of youths peeing on the rocks.
And then
it gets in the wood, and then the stink is in there. It's in there for a long time, you know. So it's just being mindful, you know, of that you're a guest, or if you're the host, that you have a guest, you know, being mindful both ways, and letting people know.
And also kind of, you know, the duration of sauna bathing. It's not a competition. So if the heat gets to you, start feeling like nauseous or something, just get out. You know, there's no rule that you need to stay there longer than you know, feel like.
Yeah, not a competition at all. If it doesn't, you know, feel good, or you feel right, you know, get out and cool off. And you know what, take your time getting back in. You don't have to rush right back in either. As soon as you cool off, you can take a breather and really cool off, let your heart rate come all the way back down, you know, and then go back in. You don't have to, you know, it's not a athletic training event like some people think it is.
That is so true. That is so true. And obviously it's good for you, you know, once you're done, you know, you're done. Maybe if you have plenty of time, you do maybe like gonna do 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds, even 5. And once you're done, you've taken that shower, then you don't put your clothes on immediately, because, you know, you're gonna keep on sweating if you do. So you just have to, at that point, you have to relax and take it easy long enough so that you come back, you know, to the normal living people, so to speak. And one thing I forgot to say is that even though the name of this podcast is The Upper Bench, there's also the lower bench. So you don't have to stay at the upper bench all the time if you don't feel like it.
Yeah, and I think as a host, I think it's good to have extra towels, extra sandals, have a little snack, have some things for people to drink, to hydrate. So, you know, a lot of this is on the hosting side of educating, communicating clearly, you know, because a lot of people coming into it just don't know.
And that's a good point, because there's going to be the people that are new to it, and there's going to be the people that want to bring others to it. Being a good host and being somebody's first sauna experience can really go awry fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, have a case of water. It's $6. Set it down. I understand. Yes, if you want to be sustainable, get some glass jars and get some pre-filled water available, because you're going to have the friend that shows up that's hungover and doesn't have any water and just wants to come over and sweat it out, and you got to get that guy at least a Gatorade.
That's true. So any final advice about the sauna? Obviously, sauna is a as people say back home, it's the poor man's church. So you have to act accordingly. And it's interesting, like before I let you speak, Sam, some public saunas, even in the United States, they have one room which is a silent sauna room, hot room, and one which is the social sauna room. That's kind of an interesting thing. I'm even though a hardcore, not DNA wise, but the hardcore Finn mentally, I'm the chatty person, so I would not go to the silent room. I would go to where people talk.
I would do one round in each, I think, and then kind of see what the vibe was, and then pick one to kind of stick with, maybe.
Yeah. Christopher, any final advice?
Well, I think just, if someone invites you to sauna, especially if they're Finnish or they have a cultural tie to it, that's a real honor, so like I always want to be respectful. And then as the host, it's it's just the flip of that. It's also an honor to host someone else, so take that time and be thoughtful and make sure that you're not having them fly blind into it. And then it's a good experience.
Yep. Set expectations. This is going to be hot. You're going to sweat. You're going to shower. You're going to have a towel. You're going to hydrate. Let these people know what they're getting into ahead of time. Hey, this one's outside, or hey, this one's in my basement, or there might be differences. Hey, we have a cold plunge. If you're new to it, you can try it out. If you've never done it before, you're not going to offend anybody by saying no, thank you. I'm okay there. So, and vice versa.
That's interesting you would say that, because I feel bad to say this out loud, but I would, if there's a hole in the ice, if there's a jetty and there's like a lake and there's a hole during the winter months, there's ice and then there's a hole. I would go there like maybe once, but that is a little extreme even for me. So it's just like, cold plunge, yes, but it's not, you don't have to take the whole thing if you don't feel like it. And one thing which is even stronger is the rolling in the snow thing. I don't know how many times you guys been doing it, but that is cold. That is super cold.
Yeah, and honestly, if you do it in the wrong type of snow, it hurts.
That's also true. So that was a little extreme, not all people have chances to go to a hole in the ice or to be able to roll in the snow, particularly if you live in the southern parts of the United States. That's almost impossible, or maybe a once in a lifetime kind of a thing. But anyway, so.
Well, and just one last thing. If someone invites you to sauna, it is okay to decline that invite. We're talking about listening to your physiology.
Yes.
So one thing I do is, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling like 60, 70%, I haven't slept well, I might pass, and I'll just apologize and just tell them what's going on. And because if you push yourself, it is an extreme experience. If you push your physiology and you're not in a right state, going to the ER during your sauna session is not a great thing.
Yeah.
No, and that brings up a great point. If you know that someone that is going to come over and use your sauna might have a medical condition that may, be a detriment, even as slight, maybe ask. It's a safety thing for you as a homeowner too. You don't want somebody coming in your sauna that might collapse. Ask them, hey, is it cool if you use sauna? with everything going on. Yeah, okay. It might be a little awkward, but I know last thing I want is for anybody to get hurt in my sauna.
Yep.
So true. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll get together soon again to record a new episode of The Upper Bench.
Thanks.
Take care.